In this video, I'd like to go over addition and subtraction of fractions, which I set on my maths. So for question 1, we have some fractions where the denominators are the same, and they were asking us to add and subtract. So the first question is 2/5 plus 1/5. Well, that is we can simply think of that like this. You can imagine you have a pizza cut into 5 equal pieces. As shown, 2/5 represents 2 pieces out of the 5, and then the extra 1/5 is another fifth, another slice, and we can see that I've shaded in 3 out of 5, so the answer would simply be 3/5. It would not be 3/10, that would be wrong. So it is 3/5. For the second one, we have 8/9 take away 4/9. Well, that is like if you have a pizza cut into 9 pieces. So please bear with me one moment. Now these should obviously be equal pieces, but it's a bit hard to draw. That's very bad, but we can see 8/9 means you have, that's really badly drawn actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's terribly drawn, but please imagine these are all equal pieces. So in this case, we imagine that we have 8/9, so 8 pieces shaded in. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we take away 4/9. So I'm going to unshade 4 of those pieces. We can see we only have 4 pieces shaded in, so 8/9 take away 4/9 is simply 4/9. So we can see when the denominators are the same, we just add or subtract the numerators. So you should hopefully be able to see that 2/7 plus 4/7 would be 6/7. And that 5/8 take away 1/8 would be 4/8. We could also think of that as 1/2. We could simplify it. So hopefully that is fairly straightforward. Now the second question looks more tricky because the denominators are different. Now the aim here is to make the denominators the same. We need what is called a common denominator. So for the first one, we have 1/10 and then plus 1/2. Now the thing is, 1/10, well, if I split something into tenths, so if I have a pizza and it's cut into 10 equal slices, say, it will look something like that. Okay, so that's badly drawn, but we can see that if I shade one of those pieces, that represents 1/10. And if I have an identical or identically sized pizza and I cut it into halves, so that would mean I'd have 1 out of 2 pieces. You can see we can't just add these together and expect, say, 2 halves or 2 tenths. We can't do that. We need to make them both be out of 10. So that 1/2 that I just shaded in, well, we can consider that to be, so that I should have drawn that as, that's drawn as fifths actually. The point is we need to make the denominators the same. So we have 1/10 plus 1/2. Now 1/2 is equal to what over 10? We need to remember that if I times the bottom of a fraction by something, so to make that 2 into 10, I would need to times the top of the fraction by the same quantity. So I would have 5 over 10. So that second fraction we could write on some paper as 5 over 10. So really we have 1/10 plus 5/10, which is 6/10. I believe it will let you leave it like that, although we could simplify that to 3/5. The second one, we have a denominator of 20 and a denominator of 5. We need to find the lowest common multiple of 20 and 5 to give us the common denominator. That's basically the smallest number, which is in the 20 times tables and in the 5. So we can see that would be 20. So we really have 13/20 take away something over 20. Now, the fraction that we began with was 2/5. Now, to get 20, I need to times 5 by 4. And to get the number on the top, I need to times the 2 by the same amount. Well, 2 times 4 is 8. So we really have 13 20ths take away 8 20ths, which we should know is going to be 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5 20ths, which will simplify to 1 over 4, but I believe we can leave it like that. So, in matter of fact, I'm just going to put some of those in to show you. So, for the first one, we had 6 tenths, and here we had 5 20ths. I just want to see if it'll give you the marks if you don't simplify, and it does, so that's fine. And the second question, you need to change both of the denominators. So we'll have a look at this first example, and then we'll have a look at the second one. So we need a number which is in the 5 times tables and the 8s. So I need to ask myself, what is the smallest number in the 5 times tables and the 8s? Well, we can simply look at our times tables to see that. If we look at our 5 times tables, it goes 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and 40, and so on. Looking at the 8s, we have 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, and then we can see actually 40 is the smallest number in both of those lists. So 40 is going to be our common denominator. So we have 3/5 plus 1 over 8. We want to make both of the denominators 40. So I simply look at what I have multiplied my denominators by to get 40. Well, 5 I've had to times by 8. So I multiply the top of the fraction by 8, 24. 8 I've had to times by 5. So I multiply the top of the fraction by 5. 1 times 5 is 5. So I have 24 40ths plus 5 40ths, which is simply 29 40ths. Similarly, in the second question, I've got 9 tenths and 8 15ths. Well, I need to look at the smallest number, which is in the 10s and the 15s. Now, you don't know the 15 times tables, maybe. I don't know if you do. But we know that 15 plus 15 is 30, so it'll go 15 and 30. And we know the 10s will go 10, 20, 30. So even without knowing the 15s times table, we know that 30 is going to be in its times table. So for this one, I would have to make the bottom into 30. So I've times 10 by 3, so I have to times 9 by 3 to get 27. Take away, well, 15 times 2 is 30, 8 times 2 is 16, 27 take away 16 over 30. So 27 take away 10 is 17, take away 6 again is 11, so that would give me 11 30ths. So just to show you that, 29 40ths. Oh, I think these are, nope, up here. And 11 30ths. We can see it is happy with that. Okay. So for the last ones, we want to write our answers as mixed numbers. So I will go through the first one as an example. So we have 7/8 plus 11 over 12. So could you tell me what the smallest number in the 8s and the 12 times tables is? So just cycle through them. 8, 16, 24, 32, and so on. 12, 24. Oh, we can see 24 is the smallest number in the 8s and the 12s. So we're going to have 24 as our common denominator. 8 has been multiplied by 3, so I multiply the numerator by 3 to give me 21. 12 has been multiplied by 2, so I multiply the numerator by 2 to get 22. So I have 21 24ths plus 22 24ths, which is going to be 43 24ths. Now to convert that into a mixed number, I simply say how many 24s are in 43. Now if I think about my 24 times tables, it will go 24, 48 and so on. So it's going to go once. And then we think about the remainder. Well, the remainder will be the difference between 43 and 24 times 1. So That's going to be 19. So we have 43 and 19 over 24. And it will be very much the same method for the second one. So hopefully that clarifies adding and subtracting fractions online maths.